Yeah, so I got hit up by Pique, actually. He invited me down to their...
Gerard himself.
I got his number in my phone, man.
I'll
flex that.
Recently, Thierry Henry said that 90-minute football is getting boring, and it wasn't until the Barcelona-Inter Milan game that he really felt the true enjoyment of football nowadays. We're seeing the introduction of leagues like the Ballers League, Kings League, TST, short-form version of the game that, is condensing the game into around 40 minutes, 2 20-minute halves. How do you guys feel about the future of football? Do you think this is the future of football, shorter matches?
I I cannot emphasize enough how much I hope not. Oh my God, this is where I become like an actual boomer. 90 minutes of football is the point. Sometimes sports are boring for some periods. That can just happen. You've watched an NFL game, sometimes you go, wow, like, there isn't shit happening, right? But you still watch NFL. Some NBA games are a little bit boring. Right? Yeah. Soccer can be a little bit slow sometimes. Yeah. That is okay. You don't have to, like, screen max, TikTok, brain rot this whole and commodify this whole sport. But I will shut up, considering the man next to me has experience.
No, but I'll agree with you on that. Like, you kind of need to go through some of those boring moments for the big moments to mean more. If you just have crazy goals being scored all the time, I think it takes a little bit away from the game.
The magic?
100%.
Well, that's why the Inter Milan Barca thing was so good, because both teams were like, what if we just played football here?
Yeah.
What if we didn't even think about our opponents and just thought, we'll just kick ball for 120 minutes and see. And that was awesome, man. That was so cool. But like you said, it's because it was the outlier, right? It was the exception to the rule. It's just the commodification of the game, the way it's become like so much about celebrities and egos and personalities rather than actual football.
So do you think influencers are killing football in a way?
I can't say that to either of you because you lads are trying to
I'm not going to take offense, man.
Absolutely. We're not going to take offense. I'm not playing in TST this year, so you're good.
You're not?
Nah.
All right, good lad.
Yeah,
Smart boy.
yeah.
No,
But there's room for both, right?
Yeah.
Is that?
It's not. I think so. There's room for there to be five-a-side leagues, and then there's room for the real thing.
Well, I mean, what gets me is that influencer culture in America is massive, right? It's so big and it's so important. It is relevant to the growth of the game, but it doesn't feel like football. And this is where I will definitely say football and not soccer in its purest form. Do you know what I mean?
It's definitely no. I don't think it's trying to be that though.
But it's like, hard. But it's like, how do you? If that is like the brain rot screen max, like 4 different formats of media open at the time, playing Subway Surfers while I watch TikTok, while I have Netflix on in the background. If TST, Kings League, Bowler League are like catered towards that, how then do you get that infant who cannot watch anything to then watch 90 minutes of football?
It
seems like the wrong entry point. It seems like the wrong entry point, bro. I get it, right? Like, so for me, I watch football religiously. And because of that, you could probably get me to really fucking reluctantly watch Ballers League, Kings League, TST, because I'll be like, all right, this is a different interpretation, the thing that I love. But I'm always going to go back to the thing that I love. Do you know what I mean?
You think it's like a little side dish, but then the real meal is a 90-minute match.
I think that is a good way of putting it. It's a really not that tasty side dish that I wouldn't order again.
Okay. So honestly, this is how I feel. Like, I feel like there's a place for everything, right? At the end of the day, I feel like these leagues like Kings League, TST, Baller League, they're giving people the opportunity who maybe haven't got the scouted or the looks or who have played pro, the ability to play at a level that gets the aura, the visibility that, maybe these content creators want or need at the time, or maybe these players needed an atmosphere, an environment to just grow and develop and play in front of a crowd. Like,
yeah, but that doesn't mean you deserve it. Sorry to interrupt you, mate. It doesn't mean you deserve it. Football's a meritocracy, right?
Of course.
Look, and there are some lads, like, honestly, in a sense, like yourself, right, who, like, were there, should be in the system. Like, right now, let's be honest, like, you probably should be playing professional soccer, right?
Yeah.
But, like, and unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. But just because what really f***s me off is that, like, if you come from, like, not a professional football background, not with that training, not with that whole thing, and then you're just like, all right, I'm here now. I play in Ballers League, Kings League. You're talking about, like, dreams for people.
TST,
that's how you shit on every single other person's dream.
Yeah.
Because you haven't cared. You haven't given a shit. But you were at one of them, right? Like you were.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I
what
went
is it
down
for
to
Kings League.
Yeah, so I got hit up by Pique actually. He invited me down to their.
Gerard himself.
I got his number in my phone, man.
That's
I'll flex that.
that's
I'll flex
hard.
that.
I take everything back. You've got Gerard
tell him you
Pique's
said
number.
that, No, but he hit me up so they have this thing called the Kings League World Cup, and this is their Latin American league. So it's a bunch of teams owned by influencers who are all Spanish speaking, from Spain, from like Latin America, from South America. This was held in Monterrey in Mexico City. So I went down there, not knowing a ton about Kings League. Obviously, I'd heard of like the hype around it, but I didn't know how big it was going to be.
Right.
We get to Monterrey, and you've seen
How's
the
your
stadium.
Spanish, by the way?
Not great. That's a whole side
struggling,
story. 8 years of classes that didn't get me a whole lot growing up. But you all know the stadium in Monterrey, with the mountain in the background, very famous stadium. They sold that out for 7v7, which I was not expecting.
That's insane.
We get there and they have a sold out stadium. They have like a sumo wrestling like event at like halftime. They got a concert as well. Like it is kind of like the brain rot. There's always got to be something going on. Attention spans.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I will say people seem to love it, and I do get your point where it's like if this is a kid's first sort of like entryway into the game, how are they going to be able to survive 90 minutes, right? I hope that's not the case. I hope it's the opposite, where it's like this gets them into football. They want to see the real thing, right? I hope it's the opposite of that. But I do think there's room for both. Why not, man? And you talked about the players, right? It gives more players a chance to keep playing at a high level, to get paid, to get their names out there. So I think it's a good thing. We'll see how long it lasts, though. That's the one thing. I don't know the longevity of some of these leagues.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it, about social media? And look, you guys are smashing it in your respective brands, and I'm not here to have a go at you, but like influencer culture seems to be like, it's really easy to be a flash in the pan. Do you know what I mean? It seems like you guys have got to keep evolving, keep doing your thing, and like establish
grind,
serious credibility.
You have to grind.
Right, and like in a different way. But like, can these guys do the same thing? Because it's like, it seems like they've gone from 0, like not existing, to 100. Okay, now that we're going to have sumo wrestling, now there's going to be like concerts. Now Ronaldinho's going to be behind a mask and he takes off the mask. Oh, it's Ronaldinho, viral. Discord goes mad. But but what's next?
What's going to keep the people staying?
Yeah, what's next? Because if it's just like, if everything is content and everything is
you got to
just
keep one-upping yourself.
Right. If everything is just an immediate dopamine hit, then how do you achieve the next
Of course. I think, honestly, at the end of the day, I think there is a place for it. But also, we talk about entry points. Like, for us, like, I started off being a fan of soccer through playing FIFA, right? Yeah. That was a condensed version of a 90-minute match in a way, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm playing a condensed version. I don't know. I know the players from playing the game, but I'm not really watching 90-minute games. So I can see for an American, who is just coming into the sport, they look at TST, they're able to, okay, Nani's playing, Aguero's playing, dope. Like, I get to come into the sport from that capacity and maybe even play alongside them or play against them in the tournament, make it a meaningful experience. Like, I have a bunch of my friends who got cut from their USL teams, graduated college, who don't play pro, and TST gives them the opportunity to stay fit for like a potential trial for a team if they get an opportunity. So I see it as a way as like, hey, it's providing a pathway for someone who doesn't have it. By all means, I understand if you're a football fanatic and you like 90 minutes, you like watching Arsenal on the weekend, you like watching Manchester City.
Don't like watching Arsenal,
I can totally see why you don't with PK Humble doing his dance after every goal. But at the same time, there is a place for it. Like kids these days, they're on TikTok, they're on social media. They see a cool little goal from their favorite content creator, they want to repost it.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's what it's made for.
Everything.
Like, not many people I think are sitting down watching TST, watching a full Baller League or Kings League game. They're seeing the highlights, they're seeing the best goals.
That's my thing with like TST. I'm intrigued by it as a concept, but I'm never gonna watch it.
At the end of the day, I feel like for these small-sided leagues, it's all about moments where football's forever.